Good afternoon, fret friends. Flying through them this week. Got a lovely guitar on the bench now, and hopefully a nice easy one. I don't get a lot of easy ones. I do not get a lot of regular setups, which is a little bit strange. I do get setups, but not normally regular. It's very rare that something comes in doesn't need a little bit of fretwork, but this might be one of them. And it's a lovely guitar, and let me show it to you. And no prizes for guessing what it is. Of course it is. It's a Gibson. It's a Gibson Les Paul Standard. You know, the name Standard sometimes makes you think that it's not good or it's not brilliant, but it doesn't mean that. Standard means, to me, it means, back from the Hamer guitar days, their Standard was such a high level instrument, because our Hamer started in the early 70s, 73 I believe, Paul Hamer with Yo Dancing out there. And the guitars they were building basically Gibson copies. But they built them that well, and they're selling them for a third of the price, and they're brilliant. But their Explorer they built, we called it the Standard, and the workmanship, the craftsmanship on that Standard was amazing. So Standard to me means exceptional quality. This is the standard we build to, and we don't ever want to drop from that. And I'm pretty much the same when I work on guitars in my workshop. I do have a certain standard, and every time I get a guitar in, I want all the work I do to be at that standard, never to be lower. If possible, higher. But if not, at least to that standard I set myself. So this is a Standard, and a Standard, they are an exceptional guitar. And this is a 2008, it's got a lovely flame maple top, nice stain to it, nice tobacco kind of colour there. Beautiful, beautiful guitar. Mahogany back, mahogany neck, maple cap on there. Absolutely stunning. Nice tulip tuners, which we all like. They would be, can't read it, are the Clues-ons? Can't quite read it from here, let me get it down a little bit lower. Just Gibson Deluxe, possibly made by Clues-on, I don't know. Anyway, made in USA, 2008, what a lovely, lovely guitar. And the lad who bought it in yesterday, he's a new client, he's just from up the road there in Annesley. And he rung me, he was on the way to Birmingham, and he says, I've got a guitar I need to bring in, I want you to have a look at, can I bring it in this afternoon? And I says, yeah, of course you can. And he bought it in, we had a look, and I says, right, it's going to need to set up. That's probably it. I do know that the nut is loose, it's not glued in, because his friend told me that, and it is not glued in. There it is. There's proof that it is not glued in. So we'll sort that out. I can already tell the action's a little bit low on the first fret. Looks pretty good anywhere else. We're going to set the neck, we're going to polish the frets, we're going to check the frets for level. Now yesterday when he was here, I didn't see any high frets, but if there are any high frets, I will fix them. It was only going to be a couple, I imagine, if any. If they're none, fantastic, straight £50 setup. We'll check the electrics, we'll tighten every nut and bolt, we'll set the bridge height, we'll set the relief in the neck, we'll set the action above the first fret with the strings, we'll set the action above the 12th fret, we'll check the height of the frets, we'll tighten every nut and bolt, like I said, we'll polish the frets and we'll glue that nut in. I'm thinking, as things are, if we just go with a standard setup, we're going to be looking at £50, a couple of quid extra, we'll go £55 I think. £60 with strings if he doesn't bring any, especially if we're bringing me some strings masters. If not, I'll stick a set of my Diodario 10s on. So it should be pretty straightforward. Not expecting anything difficult with this, but we won't know until we've got the strings off properly. We've got the neck absolutely straight, and we'll go off with a fret rocker and we will check the frets. So hopefully a nice simple one. It'd be good because I don't have many simple ones. So that would make things, for me, really, really good. Anyway, tune back soon. So on the bench, I've had this guitar plugged in and played it a little while, and it sounds fantastic. And it should. It's a Gibson Les Paul Standard. It should sound fantastic. But anyway, strings back up to tension. Not where it should be. Not glued in yet, but where it should be. Firstly, we'll get the not straight edge on there. And straight away, 9th fret, I'm looking at the relief, and I'm thinking there's too much in there, so I'm going with 0.25mm. It's a standard setting. And this is slipping right underneath, not even touching the not straight edge there. So we are going to tighten up the truss rod a little. Righty tighty, loosey lefty or something. Lefty loosey is it? I don't know, who cares. So by tightening it, we should straighten the fingerboard out. We'll just give it a quarter turn, like so. Back on there. And we're looking for this just to hit underneath that. Listen. It's almost hitting, it still needs a little bit more. Let's go back, let's go another 1/8 of the turn maybe. There you go, how's that? And what's that saying? And we need that just to be hitting. And it's not quite. Might go in the wrong way. It's been known. No. There you go. We are now under there. We need to just loosen off a bit. So we've given that another half a turn. And we just need this feeler gauge just to be hitting. Just rocking. Give it another 1/16 of a turn. And that should be enough. And now what I want is, I want this feeler gauge under the 8th and 9th fret, between the 8th and 9th frets. Just rocking, and that is it. That is how I set the action or set the relief in the neck. Next thing I'm going to do is I'll be checking the strings in relation to the first fret, and I would be looking for about 0.3 millimeters above the first fret on the low E string, about 0.2 on the high E string. So let's go with 0.25 for a reference. Too high, too high. That's just fine. So the D is just fine. Let's check the top E. Too high, slightly too high. So the middle two strings are probably okay. We need to come a little bit lower on these two top strings and the two low strings. So we're going to cut the nut. We're not going to cut it until I've got it glued into place. It's a bone nut, but we do need to carve these nut slots a little. This nut is a replacement. It's not superbly carved, but then again, it's not too bad. I have seen worse. So we need to carve the nut. Check the action at the 12th fret. I'll be looking for about 1.6, 1.7 millimeters above the 12th fret on the low E string. This is going to be lower, I can tell by looking at it, and it is. It's about 1.5, and that's really, really good. And we're looking for about 1.4, 1.5 on the high E. So the action is a little bit lower than I would like it, but okay, we're out of tune, but we could get away with that. Get the guitar tuned in. Because I've altered the truss rod. Tuner's not picking the low E string up there. So we're close. We're certainly at string tension, which is good. So pretty good. Slight bit was we're going to bring that action up just a little. I did think it was a bit too low, certainly too low for my liking. We are going to do it on these thumb wheels here, which are always difficult when you've got the guitar tuned to pitch. But let's have a check there. I know you can't see a lot, sorry about that, but that's where it is. Deal with it. So where are we? About 1.6. About 1.4. That's pretty good. That's more or less how I would like it. So that's pretty good. Check the tuning again. Because we're going to do the intonation. We're going to do everything with the old strings on. That's good. That's tuning to E, but it's saying C sharp. Let's get a proper guitar lead in there, because then we can get the tuning right. I've always said I'm going to buy a strobe tuner, never got round to it. Someone actually had a go at me last week on YouTube saying, oh, doing all that great guitar work and tuning it in with a $10 tuner. and laughing. I'm thinking, yeah, $10 tuna, that's right, it's cork, it works. Chill out. I need to have a strobe. Anyway, intonation. High E, sharp. If it's sharp, we need to lengthen the saddle. So the saddle is far too much across that way. We're going to bring it right over. We're going to move this about 3 or 4 millimetres. Well, go for about 3 millimetres, I'm saying here. That should bring it pretty close. Just a little bit sharp. How I remember it is, if a note on the 12th fret is sharp, move it to the right. Sharp and right are 5 letters. If a note at 12th fret is flat, move it left. Flat and left is 6 letters. It's the way I've always remembered it. Beautiful. B string. B string is also sharp. Same again with the B. Lengthen string length. So I'm going to tighten up this screw. I'm going to move the saddle away from the neck toward the bridge or toward the stop tail piece. Because if it's sharp, we move to the right. Perfect. G. Again, same again. Now imagine all these are going to be sharp, so I'm going to be moving all these saddles. I'm just going to pause for a second, check my phone messages, come back and we'll carry on. So, off camera, I've done these 3. G was a bit sharp, the D and the A are fine, the E is a little flat, I believe. Tiny bit. So when it's flat, we move the saddle to the left as I look at it from this position. Left, flat, 4 letters, left, 4 letters. So I'm going to just loosen this saddle. Couple of turns, like so. Still saying flat, but that's because the note was flat as well. I'm just going to stretch the string a little. A little bit flat, so we'll go again. And there you go, sorted. So the intonation is done. That is with the guitar horizontal with old strings on. When I've got the new strings on, I'll do it again. We will also have the guitar in the playing position. So I'm going to crack on, check the frets, and I'll come back and let you know how we get on. So regarding frets, we have 3 high ones, those being 15, 17, no 15, 19 and 21. Straight on to fret 15, rocking 1/3 of the way across, 19 again, 1/3 of the way across, and 21 half of the way across. So I'm going to give them 3 a little bit of attention, just file those off. That will take this from just a player setup to a intensive setup. Pickups, the pickup height is fine. I'm just going to drop the treble side, the bass side a little, half a turn, and bring the treble up half a turn because it's slightly the wrong way around. I've played this guitar and it sounds amazing. Don't know what pickups are in here. My favourite pickups, or my favourite Gibson pickups, are the 498T and the 490R, which you certainly get them in the studios. Fantastic pickups. I don't know what these are, but they sound great. Really, really good. Especially for my Ignata amp with, I've got a clone on full drive, and I have a Boss SD1 just boosting that, clean boosting that, and it sounds fantastic. sustain for days this. So that's it, so that's the pickups. I'm happy where the pickups are now. So get these 3 frets sorted out, get the nut glued back in, treat the fingerboard to some lemon oil or a mineral oil treatment. This is not lemon oil, it's mineral oil with a hint of lemon in there to make it smell nice. It's specially formulated for guitar fingerboards, ebony, rosewood, pale ferro, whatever, any of the darker woods. It will nourish and treat the wood, stop it cracking later on. It will also lift any grime off there. So, crack on, let's get this knot done. We'll get the knot, nicely cut bone knot. Got a little bit of a scowl on there, but that's fine. All we're going to do is drop some super glue in there. If it'll come out. So that's it for a second. I don't want this going straight in and sticking. I want it lined up first, and there you go. That has been not glued in. So we need a little bit of super glue, that's fine, that's all there now. Need to carve these slots again later, it's something we'll do when we've got the new strings on. I'm going to text Callum, let him know that the guitar will be done tomorrow, but he needs to drop off the strings for me so I can get them on. I will come back to the frets shortly. I just need to plop this off because it's going to be in the way when I do these frets. Pop that out of the way, pop that out of the way. Over here, what we will do is we will just, the bridge strokes off, yeah, it's fine. Just going to drop this cover off. Once I've done the frets, this can go back on. And then it can go back in its box waiting for its strings. It's something I can finish off in the morning. Be a quick 30 minutes, get some strings on, stretched in. Carve a knot, well, 45, 50 minutes. No, that doesn't work, does it? Of course it doesn't. Good thing about that is we now have this. That side of the guitar, I'm going to put a little bit of tape over there just to hold it out of the way. I don't want it poking out of the hole. Just want it out of the way while I do the frets. It's not going to hit anything because we are on the neck stand there. Now I can get to the frets and do some work. What we're going to do first is we are just going to tape up these areas. So I don't want to poking anything into the guitar body. Because I'm going to be working with files, we're just going to cover this up. And there you go. And now we're not going to have any accidents, are we? All I'm going to do is level across here, level across here, level across here with a flat blade file. I will do that in a few minutes. I need to just nip out of the room, so back soon. So the first fret I'm working on is the 21st fret, and that's why I've had to turn the guitar around because I'm only working on this side. This side's fine. It's this side that's got the high spots. So, 2 files. Swiss cut number 4 file, super smooth, super sharp, super flat. My best file, it's a beautiful thing. Number 4 cut is really smooth. I tried to get a number 6 cut, which is like, you wouldn't even know it was a file. That's about the finest one I could get. And we're going to finish off, once that's done, it's got the height right, we're going to go with the profiling file. Just to bring, where we flatten the fret across the top, we're going to bring that little crown back in there. So, always take the fret rocker. See how high it is. This is high, more or less all the way across. We're just going to take the flat file, flat side down, and we're just going to run across this fret. And I'm going to feel the radius. I've got a good feel technique. I know more or less when it's where it needs to be. Like there. That fret is now level. Tiny little bit high on that edge. Again, flat side down. My fingers as a guide, so I only screw it across the one fret, not the one next to it as well. Now you see why I have the body covered with the tape, in case I slip and dig down with the file into the guitar. It should stop us damaging anything. I will not damage anything anyway. But there you go, nice and steady. Still right on that edge, just a little bit higher. Check one back, that's still fine. Right on this edge here. Quite a lot higher. That must have been at least 1/4 millimetre higher than it ought to be. So again, just across the top of the fret. And I think we should be just about there. And there we are now level on that fret. And what we always do is check the one next to it, because sometimes if we remove material from this, it'll alter the relationship with that one, and that one. And because we remove material from it, it could make this one high. All being well, it should be fine, which it is, which is fantastic. So now we've done that, we've got the fret level. We're going to go across with a profiling file. We'll take the cloth, we'll give it a good clean. And a blow, how's that for you? And just across the top of the fret. And again, with the tape on there, if we do dig down and ding anything, we're not going to dig into the guitar. Now I'm not going to do that because the angle we're at is going to be there, and you don't go mental. So all we're going to do is put that crown back on the top of the fret, and because this file has a groove in it, you're only going to file from the edges. You're going to rebuild that crown. You're not going to file across the top because it will miss it all the time. And there you go, we've rebuilt that beautiful crown there. And that's fine, and that one is done. So the next one we had was number 19, I believe. 21/20/19, and is it on this edge? Yep, certainly is on this edge. Now because it was right up to halfway as well, can you hear this? Yeah, right, because we always work away from the soles. We never work this side, we always work that side if it's just half a fret. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this around, move the files out of the way, and we're going to do it in the proper direction. So because we're working on this side of the fret, it's going to be much easier to work from this side and over. So again, I hope you're enjoying this, I hope you're learning something. Fret 19. Very good. So what I'm going to do again is going to clean the file. Always clean the file. If I was doing a number of frets, say for instance I'm doing 3 or 4, I wouldn't go this way. I would do the lot in one go, and I would go this way. And level them all with each other. But what that would do is put lines in, scratches in that way, and I have to polish them all out again later on. And that would take 6 different grits of sandpaper, some steel wool, and it would take me about 2.5 hours. But because I'm only doing 3 frets, I'm going to do it this way. This is why I check every couple of strokes in case, because I don't want to be taking too much off, because if I take too much off one fret, I've got to take the same amount off of the other 21 of them, and that is going to take forever. So always nice and steady, take your time. I know where I need to be. Just a few strokes, nice and steady. Feels nice. A little bit more, just a little bit more. 2019, there. And that should more or less be there. If you can see from where you are, but that fret is now flattened out. We need to put that crown back in again. So again, with the crowning file, always cleaning the files. I don't know if you can see where you are, but the filings are all on the fingerboard there. Could I zoom in and show you? Probably not from where you are, because you need to be, I'll move the guitar to the camera. Around here, this area, can you see the filings? Blow them out of the way, wipe them off, and that is that one done. How's that? Okay, let's zoom back out. That's pretty much where we ought to be. So now what we do is, now we've done fret 19, we'll check 18. 18's now a little bit high on that corner. So this is the problem. When you alter one, it's going to alter the relationship with the other two. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to skim off a little. This is always the danger. So now let's check all three. That's fine, that's fine, and that's fine. We got away with that. But because I filed some off this one, it altered the relationship with these two. So again, with this kind of file, it's now 5 frets we've worked on. We're just going to do the same again. And that is it. Once it's polished up, you will never, it'll be like it's never been touched. So there you go. Check, 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 check. Very good. Last one, number 15, I believe, on this edge. Oh, 16's a little high as well. So okay, let's just go a little bit on 16. That should just need basically one swipe. 15 shouldn't need too much work. Feels pretty good. 15, 14, a little bit on 14 now. Again, you see, because I've shaved some off 15, 14 is now high on that edge. This is why once you get past 5 frets, I say you're going to need to do the lot. Good. 13's good, 14's good. 15's good, 16's got a little rock, 17's good. So 16, just a little swipe. Sixteen's good, 17's good, 15's good, 14's good. We are there. So that's it. You just always have to understand that when you remove material from one fret, it's going to alter the relationship with the two next to it that way, the two next to it that way. If I remove a bit from there, it could change the relationship with these two, and then that one could become high. So we always have to be, but we always remove just a tiny bit of material. We never go mental. Remove too much, you'll end up doing a fret level on the whole lot, and that takes hours. And that, my friends, is those 3 high frets sorted out, and the relationship next to the ones around them also sorted out. We are going to go from fret 13 upwards to check everything. 15 still a little bit high on that edge. We'll go again, wipe the file. Could just be at one edge. It's a little bit high. Check again, that's good, that's good. All good now. All we need to do now is get the fingerboard all oiled up, get the frets polished, and we will be good to go. Got a little bit of a rock on 13 down here, did I? Right on the edge, not even worth bothering about, but we as we're here, we will bother about it. As much as it will be. We're talking very, very tiny amounts when we get a rock. Let's try that now. There you go. That's sorted. And there you go. Frets are done. Didn't take too long, did it? But that's what makes a player setup into an intensive setup. Also, with an intensive setup, you get the electrics fixed if they are broken as well. So right, crack on, get some mineral lemon oil as you know it, mineral oil on here. We need to cover this pick up because we are going to be polishing these up with some wire wool or some steel wool. We do not want to get filings inside the pickup. You get right in and over there, and there you go. That's the pickup protected. We are good to go. I'll stick some. Got some somewhere. Yeah, we have cloth on there, just so we don't cover the the headstock in oil. It's just a matter of. Oh, that's clever. Where's the lid? The lid's just blown off completely. I'll come back. Oh, there it is. For what it's good it does, I'll just put this in a normal bottle. There you go. Let it soak in 10-15 minutes. This will nourish the wood, because the wood does dry out and it does crack if you leave it. I've had some guitars come in and they've been left for years and the wood's all cracking. This will remove any grime, any finger sweat on there. We'll go to wipe off in a bit. So let's do its stuff. Give it 10 minutes and we'll come out and get the frets polished. Get this wiped off and we'll be ready for the new set of strings, and the setup then will be done. Welcome back, fret friends. It is next morning and we are ready to string up this guitar. The frets well leveled, re-crown polished. All of them has been polished. We've treated the fingerboard with some mineral oil. The owner of this guitar, Callum, has been back to drop off some strings, and we are going with Diodario NYXLs. Blah 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 blah. Are they? I don't know what size they are, like a 1046 set. So I'm going to briefly, or basically, show how I string up the guitar. And I'll be honest, I do like turns round posts when I'm stringing up a guitar. So, without further ado. Get the bridge on there, stop tail piece, and we'll start with the low E. I always do the low ones first. Why? Because they're nearer. And what I like to do is I like to get all of the tuning pegs facing this way. You can't really see from there, can you? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly, I'll get that off the guitar, but not scratch anything. I'm going to slightly just move the camera. We all know how to thread them in at the stop tail piece end. Let's go there. Also, I do like the lock-in tail pieces with the spring. What I like to do is get all the tuning pegs facing the right way, and what I always do is I go round the back like so, and I like to put turns around the tuning pegs. So I'm going to go there and round here, 1 or 2 on the first one, and I'm going to just turn that one. I like to go a couple of turns. I get away with 1, but I like to go a couple on the low E, or the 6th string. Seems odd calling it the 6th string when it's one closest to you, doesn't it? Anyway, a couple of turns around there. Not going to bring it up to pitch yet. Nice there, 2 turns. I'll bend it back on the outside, snip off, and we'll stick that in the bin, and we'll go to the next one. And that's it. We'll do the same again, over, round the back. Couple of turns on this one. This one I'll actually bring around, over and under, and if I can get a second one, even better. There you go, over and under, and there. Thumb there. Not pressing onto the guitar, just keeping it down. Make sure this part goes beneath where you've just wound. And again, this is how I like. I'm not saying this is the definitive correct way. It's the way I like to do it. Three turns on that one. I'll go 3 on this, 4, 5 and 6. I like to see wraps around posts. It just works for me. So that's it. I'm going to crack on with that, get them all on. Once they're on, we'll give them a stretch and we'll get the guitar tuned in. We'll make sure everything else is set right. I'll explain that as we do it. So with the guitar tuned in, strings at pitch, how we want it tuned in this case just E standard, regular. We're going to look at the height of the strings above the first fret. And ideally for me, there is no set measurement, but what you're looking to do is get them to a height above the first fret where they don't buzz, but they're as low to the fret as they could possibly be, within reason. You can go 10% the opposite way, especially erring on the side of caution, which I like to do. So as a rule, and this is not a measurement you have to adhere to, you can get it lower, I like to go no lower than 0.2 millimeters above the, with a gap between the top of the fret and the first string, and 0.3 millimeters on the 6th string, and we gradient it down in between, and that means all strings will be high enough above the first fret as to not cause any buzz, but low enough that when you finger a bar chord on the F or the F sharp or the G, you are not going to be sharp, you're going to be in perfect pitch. So with a 0.3 here on the low E, I can see we are still too high, quite a bit too high. So I'll be taking my Hosco nut files, great piece of kit these. This is a 1046 set. I can use it on a 942, a 1046 or even bigger, because we can angle the file slightly to make the slot a little bit wider if we want to. 3 files, 2 measurements on each with 1026, 1336, 1746. That's a 1046 set. We're going to go with a 46 side to just lower this one. And what we want to do is we do not want to remove too much material. We've got quite a ways to go there. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the string, just bring it to the side, take the 46 one and very carefully cut. We're going to slightly angle the file down towards the headstock or towards that tune, not too much, just a slight gradient, and we are going to remove, we're going to cut in. I can see that I'm cutting quite deep there. We don't want to go too far. That is looking pretty good. Still have a little more to go. Always checking. Nice, steady strokes. Because we're using a 1040, I like to just flare ever so slightly. So see I'm angling the file, just so it doesn't, the string doesn't pinch in there. Just buzzing, which is what we're looking for. We're just going to, now I'm not going to press, I'm not going to cut in, I'm just going to just slide in there, just make sure we've got that slot. Nice. And that is beautiful, and that's exactly where I need to be. .3 mil. Beautiful. Could go a tad lower, but I think that's pretty good. So the next one, the A string, which will be a 36 gauge. That's almost there. We're just going to take that back a little. So, 36. What we're going to do is we're just going to, ever so gently, just give that a little bit more. Flare it open, like so, and that should more or less be exactly where I want it to be. We can certainly go a little bit more. But anyway, what I'm going to do is off camera, I'm going to get all of the rest done. We're going to start this at this side. I'm going to start with 0.25. Probably get down to 0.2 millimeters, but 0.25 is a good starter. And you can do it by eye if you want. Obviously, this comes with experience. But anyway, put the 36 on again. Don't go gung ho. If you knacker this up, you're going to be putting a new nut on there. And there you go. That is where I need it to be, I think. Perfect. Those two are fine anyway. We're going to drop down to a 0.25 feeler gauge. That's millimeters. We are metric in England. We don't do imperial like we do in America, and everywhere else seems to do metric. But here we go. Okay, the third string can do with a little bit more. I think we'll find that that is a 17. Now I know my 17 file is really, really sharp. 17 there, so really, really careful. Are we on the 17? We're on the 17, yeah. We're just gonna That has been pinching a bit, that one. Because it doesn't want to push forward, look at that. Okay, there you go, now we're going forwards. I know that one is really sharp, so I don't want to go too much on there. Still go a little bit more. Well, I did say I was going to turn the camera off, but I obviously have not. Completely forgot. There you go, now we've got the file going forwards, which is how we cut. It's as much as I want to go. And 0.25, yes we are. Could go a little bit more. Take your time with this. Like I say, go too deep, you'll be getting a piece of black bone and cutting a new knot. That's going to take you an hour, and that's going to cost you money because it's lost earnings. And there you go, I'm going to be happy with this for sure. That will do. 2 more to do. I'll get them done off camera, and once that's done we can stretch the strings in, we can check everything else, check the intonation in the playing position, check the tuning in the playing position, check the string height above the 12th fret, and once that's all set, the guitar will be ready to go. Welcome back, fret friends. Here we are with the guitar all finished. What it really needed was a good setup. It was you know, it ended up, we needed 3 frets looking at because it had high spots over those 3 frets, which we fixed, which upgraded it from a regular player setup, which would have been £50, to an intensive setup, which includes up to 5 frets levelled and recrowned. Now, the thing is, when I do 3 frets, it doesn't normally mean you're only working on 3 frets. When you alter 1 fret, it does alter the relationship with the 2 frets either side of it, so another 4 frets could go out of line, out of whack. Say, for instance, you remove height from 1 fret, the relationship with the 2 frets on the right hand side or left hand side of it could change because you remove material. So I ended up doing 6 frets in the end, which is just on the cusp of not having to do a complete fret level. So we got that done. It's a regular player, what I call a player setup, but don't think that it's the cheapest of a lot and it's a player setup. If we skimp on anything, we don't. We do, like for instance, I've recut the bone nut because the action above the 1st fret was too high. Every nut and bolt has been checked and tightened where needed. The truss rod has been altered to correct the relief. We've checked the height above the 12th fret, which I've also altered again. We are in a safe and lowish setup because I've got the neck quite straight with only a small amount of relief, about 0.15 under the 9th fret, 0.15 millimeters. We have an action on the low or the bass E, the 6th string, of about 1.6 millimeters above the 12th fret and about 1.4 millimeters on the 1st string, which is really quite low. Not super low, but low enough. We of course have done the intonation, we set the pickup height, and that's really it. And every nut and bolt has been checked, barring I have not tightened the strap pins, which I'm going to check right here, right now, live on camera. We're just going to see if they need a bit of a turn. Nothing in that. And again, this one. And that is it, absolutely fine. That is it. So the guitar has also had a clean. Oh yes, must mention that all the frets have been polished and the fingerboard has been treated with some mineral oil. 1, to clean it, and 2, to slightly nourish the wood, stop it going dry. So that is it, complete setup. A wonderful guitar. I've plugged it in and I've played it. It plays fantastic, sounds amazing. So a 2008 Gibson Les Paul Standard, beautiful maple top, beautiful finish, beautiful colour. If I had a Les Paul Standard, this would be it. It really is that beautiful. I know the owner of the guitar really loves it, and at a time when he was struggling, he did sell it. What he didn't know at the time was it was his mum that actually commissioned the purchase, and she bought it back for him and gave it him as a 21st birthday present. What a fantastic gesture that is, to have to sell your guitar because you need the money and your mum secretly buys it back for you. How amazing is that? So wonderful story to the guitar. I hope I've done it justice. I don't hope I've done it justice, I know I've done it justice. Absolutely fantastic, so praise the Lord for that, for my skills. But it is all ready to go. So boys and girls, as always, just before I go, I'll remind you of my services. Go and check me out at facebook.com/ng17. That's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. My name is Victor. I am your fret friend. And until next time, boys and girls, as always, God bless you. Be good to each other. And I'll see you soon.